Hello and good morning guys, my name is Muhammad Fatih Fikri bin Suhaimi. My matrix number is 02D821F1041. Today I want to present about business cycle and unemployment. Okay, the first is about business cycle. Business cycle is also known as trade cycle. Business cycle also refers to a wave-like fluctuation in aggregate economic activity, particularly with regard to national income, employment and output. According to Keynes definitions, business cycle is composed of period of good trade with rising price and low unemployment percentage, followed by period of bad trade with falling price and high unemployment percentage. Characteristic of a business cycle. The main characteristic or features of a business cycle are as follows. Business cycle is an economy-wide phenomenon which prevails in all industries. If the division or boom takes place in an industrial sectors, then it will spread to other sectors such as construction, service, agriculture, and so on. Business cycle is a wave-like movement in economic activity where an expansion is followed by a depletion. So the economy moves from one position to another position like a pendulum. Business cycle is characterized by upward and downward movement. Phases of business cycle. The picture shows the expansion and construction period. Expansion is the period in a business cycle where it moves from a trough to a peak. In example, where output and employment increase. Construction is the period in a business cycle where it moves from a peak to a trough, during which output and employment decline. 4 phases of a business cycle. The first is peak or boom. The economy will experience a high level of output and trade, increasing effective demand and higher employment level and income. The second is recession. A decrease in the volume of output, trade and transaction, and increase in the level of unemployment. The level of employed is lower. A reduction in aggregate income in terms of wage and profit. A decline is consumption, expenditure, and investment level. Net is drop. During this phase, the overall level of economic activity will drop to the lowest level. Unemployment rates during this phase will be higher and create many problems. Lastly, recovery. The increase in government expenditure will stimulate the demand for consumption of goods, and thus will increase the demand for capital goods. Definition of unemployment. The labor force is defined as people from the total population above years of age who are not in any institution and are either employed or unemployed but actively seeking employment. So the labor force consists of employed and unemployed persons. Unemployment is defined as labor force participants being available and willing to work, but are unable to find job. The labor force participation rate is defined as the fraction of the labor force to the total working age group population, with is expressed as a percentage. Formula for labor force participation rate is as follows the picture. This is important to note that discouraged workers are not included in the definition of labor force. Discouraged worker is an individual who wants to work but who has been unsuccessful for a long period of time in finding a job and who has consequently given up on job seeking. The unemployment rate does not measure as employment.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Ahmad Nasrullah. Today I will continue about definition of unemployment. Underemployment is a term used to describe those who take on part-time jobs below their capability but are seeking full-time employment. People with education and skill accepts unskilled jobs rather than remain unemployed. In example, graduate working as a salesperson in a supermarket. Employment is the situation where all available resources in the economy are employed to produce goods and services. It is difficult to define full employment because full employment does not mean 100% of the working labor force. Full employment means that the employment rate is equal to all types of employment except legal and unemployment. As you can see in this graph, we can understand which part is labor force and which part not in the labor force. As you can see, population can be split to which is labor force and not in a labor force. In a labor force, we have employed and unemployed and unemployment. While not in a labor force, we have those who are in institutions, discouraged workers, and those who are below 16 years. Next is type of unemployment. We have 4 types of unemployment. First is frictional unemployment. Frictional unemployment occurs when people voluntarily change jobs within an economy. After a person leaves a company, it naturally takes time to find another job. Similarly, graduates just entering the workforce add to frictional unemployment. This type of unemployment is usually short-lived. It is also the least problematic from an economic standpoint. Second, we have cyclical unemployment. Cyclical unemployment is the variation in the number of unemployment workers over the course of economic upturn and downturns, such as those related to change in oil price and unemployment rise during recessionary period and decline during period of economic growth. The third is structural unemployment. Structure and unemployment comes about through technology change in the structure of economy in which labor market operate. Technological change such as the replacement of horse-drawn transport by automobiles or the automation of manufacturing lead to unemployment among workers displaced from jobs that no longer needed. The fourth one is institutional unemployment. Institutional unemployment result from long-term or permanent institutional factor and incentives in the economy. The following can all contribute to institutional and employment. Government policies such as high minimum wage floors, generous social benefits program, and restrictive occupational licensing laws. Labor market phenomena such as efficiency, wage, and discriminatory hiring. Labor market institutions such as high-grade union. The fourth one, which is the loss of unemployment, the loss of type unemployment is seasonal unemployment. Seasonal unemployment arises due to a seasonal variation in the activities of particular industry. This may be caused by climatic change in fashion trends, or the inherent nature of the industry themselves. In this type employment, the labor force is employed at time and employed at other time. A fisherman, for example, is unable to fish in winter or during the monsoon. After that, we have impact of unemployment. Impact of unemployment can be divided by two, which is first from individual and the second one is from economy. Let we talk impact of employment for individual. The first impact is loss of income and self-respect. The worker who is unemployed for a long time may face financial problems and consequently lost his or her self-respect and the respect of immediate family and friends. This leads to frustration, causing him or her to turn to alcohol or drugs, or resort to life of a crime. The second one is loss of job skills. Unemployed workers may lose their job skill due to lack of application. Retraining and educating them may prove expensive. The third one is social and political problem. In some extreme cases, unemployed workers may join radical groups and engage in troublesome social and political activities. The crime rate would be high if unemployment is high. Okay, the second impact is on economy. Effect on the economy. High employment rate will affect the economy. The cost of unemployment is measured as the goods and services which society could have produced but did not. The GNP gap is one of the ways to measure the cost of unemployment. Unemployment also can increase the loss of government revenue obtained through personal tax. Certain countries provided unemployment benefit, which form part of a government expenditure. This could reduce development activities of the economy. So economic growth and low output might lead to a depression. In monetary policy, we have four, which is the first one is open market operation. In open market operation, the central bank may buy short-term bond or government securities and treasury bills from individuals as well as institutions. The purchase of securities can increase money supply and increase the purchasing power of individual and firms. The second one is lowering the reserve requirement. In reserve requirement refer to the amount of reserve commercial banks are required to keep in the central bank during period unemployment. The central bank lowers this reserve requirement to increase the cash resource of commercial banks, thereby encouraging the bank to offer more loans to the public and businessmen. The third one is lowering the discount rate. The discount rate is also known as the bank rate. A decline in the discount rate is followed by a decline in other interest rates, which leads to increased borrowing and increased investment by private businessmen. The fourth one is which is the last monetary policy, is lowering in the interest rate. The central bank may persuade commercial banks to decrease their rates of interest on deposit from the public. This action from commercial bank will reduce the level of savings and increase the purchase of goods and services from the public. For example, a reduction for the interest rate on fixed deposits from 10% to 4% will result in consumer saving less and spending more. And the third one, which is the last part of the measure to control unemployment, is direct control measures. In direct control measures, we have three, which is the first one is training the technical education. More training and education should be provided for individuals who increase their knowledge. They will be able to find jobs easily. For example, unemployed graduates are given free short course to learn computer skills and language. The second one of the direct control measure is development of new land. Developing new land can create more job opportunities, especially for people from rural areas. The development of new land is through government agencies such as FERDA, RISDA, and FELCRA. This can reduce unemployment and rural urban migration. The third one, which is the last direct control measure, is job creation in various sectors of an economy. Job creation in various sectors of an economy. These more job opportunities can be created if there is diversification in an economy. If all sectors in an economy, such as transportation, finance, insurance, service, tourism, farm manufacturing, construction, and others, expand, it will create more jobs and thus reduce unemployment. That's all for us. Thank you.